So hello everyone, this is the Sports Show podcast, and today we're joined with UFC heavyweight Parker Porter. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. How you been?
All good, mate. All good, brilliant. So we'll just get straight into it. What got you started in the MMA?
What got me started? Uh, got into it actually just as a way of kind of like mixing up my workouts. I was a fat kid playing football in high school, and when I graduated from high school, I got in really good shape, lost a ton of weight, and I'd always been in the weight room to get better at whatever sport I was playing, and now I didn't have a sport to play, so I never had any intentions of actually competing when I got into it. I just got into it to learn a little bit of self defense and have some fun, mix things up a little bit, and happened to be good at it. Took a fight when I was 22 years old and haven't looked back since.
Brilliant. And just before your professional career, did you have much of an amateur career? How was that for you?
I didn't have any amateur career. Been doing this for 15 years, and when I got started 15 years ago, there wasn't a ton of venues around here that did it, and certainly wasn't to the level that it is now. So nobody really knew anything about fighting amateur at that point, so it was no pro or nothing at all.
Just going straight into professional then?
Sorry,
You just went straight into professional fighting then, yeah?
straight into pro fighting. Yeah,
Brilliant, brilliant. Have you got any tips for any young fighters starting out wanting to make a name for themselves?
definitely do as many amateur fights as you can because it's great experience and it's obviously now part of your permanent record. There's not too many people that look back or really hold any weight about somebody's amateur career. So win, lose or draw, it's tons more experience that you'll be able to get before you go pro.
Yeah, and of course your first two professional fights you won then. How big of a great start at your professional career as well? How was that for you getting off the perfect professional record?
It felt pretty good, but unfortunately it didn't last too long because fight number three, I met this guy named Jon Jones, and we don't know what happens when you step in the cage with him.
Yeah, and that's it. What a fighter anyway. But what did you make of your performance then? What did you take from that fight?
So I mean, just like anybody that won their first two pro fights, by any means necessary. Like I thought I did great, and then like looking back on, I thought I was doing awesome. But looking back on it years later, I kind of rewatched some of the videos, and I was like, oh, that's pretty god awful.
Yeah.
He won that on sheer grit and cardio.
A few years after that, you fought on Bellator, which is now quite a big promotion. I don't know if it was that day a few years back, but how was that for you anyway, fighting on such a big promotion?
That was a great experience too. I got to fight on the undercard in pretty much my backyard at the local casino around here. So that was a good experience. Big stage, big production. It was another taste of where I really wanted to go with my career overall. Like taking it to the highest levels.
Yeah, and straight after that, or a few years after that, then you took a few years out, but then you came back and you signed with the UFC. How big was that for you? Would that be one of your dreams growing up?
That was my dream ever since I started training. Ever since my first pro fight. I went in there, didn't really know too much about the sport in general. The season finale of the Ultimate Fighter one with Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner was about 2 3 months before I had my first pro fight. So everything was still very brand new and a lot of misinformation or no information at all about how to train or where to train or how to do things or what you could do with it. Um, but after winning my first pro fight, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I put everything I had into it and focused on it 100%.
Yeah, and of course the UFC is now probably the biggest mixed martial arts promotion show. How would you compare that to maybe some other promotions that you fought on?
It doesn't compare. It's the gold standard, man. It's the highest level. It's the biggest show on the face of the planet for mixed martial arts. And that's the top. Couldn't be any happier to be here.
Yeah, and of course then you fought your very first UFC fight, and unfortunately you lost in your debut. How much confidence did you have to rewrite that loss?
Confidence in coming back from that loss, I had a ton because when I took that fight, when I took my debut fight against Chris Daukaus, I took it on 9 days' notice.
Yep.
My youngest son was 3 weeks old. It was we're talking like the height of the pandemic. Almost all the gyms are closed. I was 25 pounds overweight. I just left the gym that I was previously training at, and I was only training and hitting pads with my new coach about once a week. So I didn't feel too optimistic about the outcome of that initial debut fight, but I knew exactly what I was capable of once I got my foot in the door. That's exactly what I started showing everybody.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you've done. Then you won your next two UFC fights, which is great, and I think that's the perfect way after losing your first UFC fight. But then after that, you lost again your most recent fight. How much how much work have you been putting in for your upcoming fight now?
Oh, tons, man. I kind of almost went through two camps. I was supposed to have a fight in October in Abu Dhabi that fell through. And then they got a replacement opponent for that, and that one fell through. And then they were like, "All right, well, we'll get you on the card for February next year." So I was like, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah, yeah, and of course it's probably the biggest card this year. So how big is that for you fighting on such a big card with two excellent fighters as the main event?
I'm so excited about it. I couldn't be any happier because on top of it, it'll be the first time I actually get a crowd for one of my UFC fights because all my fights previously have been at the Apex Center
Yeah,
where they can't fit probably more than 100 people in there.
yeah, yeah, and of course you're fighting against a guy, Justin Tafa, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. What do you take from him? What have you been looking at him for? What's his strengths and what's his? Obviously, you're not going to give away your game plan, but what are you going to do in this fight that's gonna compare you or not compare you to anyone else?
I'm gonna get my first finish in this fight. I think I'm hoping to possibly get a performance bonus as well. I mean, there's tough
Brilliant.
challenges because there's lots of high level guys on that card, and everybody's going to be fighting for that. But I think I'm going to have a solid finish on this fight. I'm excited to have a crowd in front of me and everything, and I just kind of feed off that energy, whether they're cheering for me or booing for me or whatever. That energy is just electrifying. So I'm going to use that to fuel one of my best performances yet.
Yeah, and of course this fight is in Australia, so it's a good bit away from America where you are now. How you feeling about that? Is it your first time in Australia, or how you feeling about
Yeah,
flying?
it's, I'm excited about it, but it's a lot of traveling. We got about 22 hours of fly time, and then they're 13 hours ahead of us. So uh, adjusting to the sleep's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I'll manage.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next. I was gonna say how early will you be arriving there because of course sleep does have an impact on your performance.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to be arriving on the 5th, so we
Right.
leave on the 3rd, which I think is a Sunday evening from New York, and then we'll be touching down in Perth on Tuesday morning.
Yeah,
So,
brilliant. And of course, hopefully after this, after a finish here, what are you expecting next? What do you want next? Any names you want?
no, I don't have any particular names I want to call out. I haven't gotten that far ahead. I usually kind of focus on the one in front of me before I worry about what's coming after that.
Yeah,
But if I think of anything, I'll send you a message and you can throw that out there.
brilliant partner. Thank you very much, mate, for coming on. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No worries, bro. See you later. Thank you.